Today, Sejalji began with a very beautiful word, trust and relationship. And there's so much, related to each other, so much bounded, and because we can definitely say trust as the foundation of strong relationships. Let's begin with a, scenario. Like it's 8 p.m. Your teenager promised to be home by 7:30, but your phone shows last seen 2 hours ago on WhatsApp. Now, what's the first emotion that hits you? Worry? Anger? Now, flip it. You are the teenager. Your mom said she would pick you up from coaching at 6 p.m. and it's 6:45, and she's nowhere to be seen. What are your feelings? So, in both scenarios, something invisible yet powerful is at stake: trust. And here's the thing about trust: it's like that delicate silk sari your grandmother treasured. Beautiful, valuable, but one careless pull and the threads start unraveling. So, trust is the bridge between two hearts, and without it, every step feels like a risk. So, what exactly is trust? So, we can say it's not just a feeling, it's actually built on three concrete pillars. Yes, three. One, predictability. Can I count you to be who you say you are? Or when your best friend says, I'll call you back in 10 minutes, and she actually does. That's predictability. Or when your mother in law promises not to bring up your cooking skills at family gatherings and she keeps her word. That's predictability building trust. The number two, reliability. Will you do what you say you will do? It's your domestic help showing up every day at 9 a.m. sharp, even during monsoon. Or it's your teenage daughter actually studying when she says she is studying and not scrolling through Instagram with a textbook strategically placed nearby. And number three, emotional safety. That can I be vulnerable with you without fear of judgment or betrayal? It's knowing you can tell your sister about your marriage struggles without it becoming a WhatsApp forward material for the extended family. Or it's a teenager feeling safe enough to admit they failed a test instead of hiding it and forging your signature. Think about it. Every strong relationship in your life, whether it's with your spouse, your children, your mother in law, or your best friend from college, stands on these three pillars. So let me share the cruel mathematics of trust. Yeah. So here's what unfair about trust: it's built drop by drop, like collecting a rainwater in a pot, but it can be lost in a single moment, like that pot shattering on the floor. So let me paint you a picture. Priya has been the perfect employee for 3 years, never late, always delivers, stays extra hours without complaint. So she's built a reservoir of trust with her boss. And then one day, she lies about a small mistake, trying to cover it up. And that single lie doesn't just erase the mistake, it cracks the entire foundation of 3 years of trust building. Or think about this: your 16-year-old has been honest about where they are going, who they are with, and when they'll be back. So you've slowly started giving them more freedom. And then one evening, you discover they lied about going to the library, and they were actually at a friend's house where parents weren't home. And suddenly, every future I'm going to study at Ria's house becomes questionable. Why does this happen? Because trust is essentially about prediction. When someone breaks trust, a brain screams. If they can lie about this, what else are they lying about? We lose our ability to predict their behavior. And without predictability, there is no trust. But here's the beautiful news: broken trust isn't a dead trust. It can be rebuilt, but it requires something most of us struggle with: patience and consistent action. Words are cheap when trust is broken. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. These are just sounds in the air. Trust is rebuilt through the language of actions, and it speaks in the specific dialect. Let's say if your teenager broke curfew, they don't rebuild trust by promising to never do it again. They rebuild it by coming home 15 minutes early for the next 2 months. If you promised your mother you would call her every Sunday and kept forgetting, you don't rebuild trust with a long emotional apology. You rebuild it by calling her every Sunday for the next 6 months and then continuing because it's become who you are. Or when Kavita discovered her husband had a secret credit card, he didn't rebuild trust by destroying the card. He rebuilt it by sharing all financial decisions, giving her access to all accounts, and providing monthly updates on their finances. Not because she demanded it, but because he understood that transparency is trust in action. So it's not enough to say, sorry for lying. It's saying, I understand that when I lied about where I was, I didn't just break a rule, I broke your peace of mind. I understand that you probably lay awake wondering what else I might be hiding. So, before we point fingers outward, let's hold up a mirror. Where do you withhold trust? And more importantly, why? Is it because you've been hurt before? Or is it because you don't trust yourself to handle disappointment? Sometimes the walls we build to protect our hearts also keep out the very connections we crave. So today, let's create a trust building action plan. Okay? So here's your homework. And yes, I'm giving homework to everyone, from teenagers to the adults. Choose one person in your life and one action that builds trust with them today. Yes, one person and one action. Then show up on time for something you promised, or keep a secret they confided in you, or listen to them without immediately offering solutions or judgments, or admit a mistake before they discover it, or follow through on something small you said you would do. Remember, trust isn't built in grand gestures, It's built in the accumulation of small, consistent actions. And as I close, let me leave you with this thought. Trust is not about creating a world where no one ever disappoints you. Trust is about creating relationships strong enough to handle disappointment and grow even stronger. So, your challenge for the next 30 days: be the person others can predict, rely on, and feel emotionally safe with. Watch how this single shift transforms not just your relationships, but the entire quality of your life. Because at the end of the day, we don't just want to be loved, we want to be trusted. And perhaps that's the greatest compliment anyone can give us. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you.